Nice that we have fire.
So we're down to our last park that we have yet to visit in South Carolina, Chester State Park. So once we realized we were down to just one, and that the kids had
A four-day weekend.
a 4-day weekend for Martin Luther King Jr. holiday, we said, what's the chances of being able to snag a spot at Chester? And lo and behold, we got site 14 2 weeks ago, and we've thoroughly enjoyed it. I hope that it comes through in this video how much we really like Chester.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna come back to, I think.
Yes, very much. Hope you enjoy. So over the Christmas break, we were able to make it to Lake Wateree just before New Year's, and we did
number 45.
Then we did Sesquicentennial State Park on the New Year's first day hike.
46.
Number 46. So we were down to our last park in the South Carolina State Park system, and we were able to snag a site here at Chester State Park just 2 weeks ago for Martin Luther King Jr. holiday.
So glad we did. Not only because it's the 47th park,
right,
and we, accomplished a huge goal, but it's a great park.
It really is.
And we have a great site. We've got all this room. The kids have been able to run around.
It's one of those that you don't hear a lot of people talk about. People aren't clamoring about it on Facebook groups, and I didn't really know what to expect, but it has really surprised us, and we've thoroughly enjoyed it. I'll start with I'm gonna stop and do the quick walk around of our site so you can see it. I also filmed a couple of the others because it's a January, so it's not all that busy here.
But
it is being cold.
Busier than I'd expected.
Yeah. So we'll do that real quick. We'll show our site and then we'll get into the campground. All right, we'll do our walk around of site 14 here at the park. Kind of point out the neighbors over here. A little bit of distance. It's packed gravel, fairly amazingly level. See site 16 over here. Come back and look at the site. Nice leveled out area, a picnic, plenty of space. Woods right behind. See this little grass area. There's actually a path over there down to the trail. One thing I want to point out about this particular site is where the power box is. Looks like it's been backed into several times. Power and water back here. Ooh, a little awkward. Made it work, but come around this way. And right over there is the water. That's what this site's kind of nice about. This is site 15 at Chester. It's a pull through. We'll look over here to 17, also a pull through. And we see 16 right there, also just a little shorter pull through. Site 18 is shorter. For some reason they got the picnic table kind of in the site. If you moved it over to the flat area, give you a little bit more room. 20 and 21, very similar. Short, but nice with the woods right next to them. Here's site 19. Notice it's next to the bathhouse. Here's site 9. Back up. You see right there's 11 next to it. So one of the things that we're surprised by right away was this beautiful walkway down to the water and this landing.
Gorgeous, like open, communal space for the campers. You see a lot, like, in the middle of the campsite, they've thrown some Adirondack chairs and there's a fire pit, but this is super well done. It's all lit all the way down.
Absolutely. Stone wall that you can sit on, swings, and picnic tables.
And they're made out of the...
Yeah, it's almost a resin plastic type of material, so they
Yeah,
won't
so they
deteriorate
look
over
wood,
time.
but they're, I
Right.
mean, smooth and beautiful. Some of them have a little flat down cup holder thing happening.
video like playing with
Henry
those.
thought that was the best thing. There's a nice big rack for firewood if you in the stone. There's a pier right there that you can
fishing.
fish from, and nice wide walkway paths
Yeah,
down that way as well.
It really surprised me to see that, because it was a small park, and then they've got these 2 brand new cabins right over here to the other side. I was like, wow,
They are beautiful and super cool looking.
right. I was like, wow, this is kind of a small park. Well, we found out today that there is a local charitable foundation that helps financially support this park and has for a number of years given an annual gift for projects like this.
And they've been able to build on that. They said some of their projects they've been able to, like, we got kind of the base funding, and so the state chipped in.
And they've done the work.
And they've done the work. And
So-
the Rangers have, done so much and extended those gifts.
An example, Ranger Zach was explaining to me that the gift was able to purchase the kit for the cabins, but the kit just shows up on a truck.
like an IKEA piece of furniture.
Right. So rather than contract it out, the guys here, the staff here at the park, assembled it and put it together. They said it was great for them. It was a great bonding opportunity. It was a great chance for them to learn, and it looks fantastic. Now,
And they're so pretty. And they right there where you're just looking at the water.
Yep.
The lake is super cool. It's got all these little inlets and stuff. So all the hiking isn't just like, a circle around the lake. Like, it was very intricate and detailed.
yeah, we were able to do a hike today. That there's the trail really goes from the spillway all the way past the campground, past several of the picnic shelters
and day use kind of
at
spaces.
day use areas, and then ends up at the day use area where there is the boathouse, where you can rent paddle boats, kayaks, John boats. We actually, one of our neighbors, I was curious when I saw them pull up the other day. They had a big battery and a trolling motor just sitting in the bed of his pickup truck. And I realized he had gone and rented a John boat here. He had his own trolling motor and his own battery, so he was able to troll around and fish. I thought it was a great idea.
Yeah.
And he didn't have to bring his...
And not have to haul your boat.
And not have to haul his boat. And then once you get past that, you get into a couple more picnic shelters, playground, which that foundation helped provide.
And it's super nice, and it's one of those dual playgrounds. So there's like the bigger kid side and the littler kid side. There's a lot of benches in between. So if you're able to go, if you got one that's smaller, you're right there where they're both playing, and the kids had a great time.
Past the playground, there is a really unique feature to Chester State Park, and it's kind of a bridge, it's kind of a fishing pier.
It's got a foot bridge, 100 feet foot bridge, I think. Or
Yeah, it crosses over
a little inlet.
a little inlet right there where there's kind of a larger area in the middle. It's for fishing, it's for taking a pretty walk, it's for just enjoying the park, and it's very well done. Yet another one of the things that was funded by this grant.
It's just really all of that right there. Like, there's a really nice concrete and rail system, and then the bridge itself is really nice. The trails are really in good shape.
Yeah, the trail it was
mostly wide.
Yeah, I think we decided it was about 1.5 miles in length. There was a few little water spots that were a little difficult on the
some of that's
close to the spillway.
winter.
Yeah, a lot of it's just because it's so wet right now. But the spillway is really neat.
It was built by the CCC, as was several things in the park. And there's a little concrete thing that said September 2nd, 1936.
And talking to the Rangers, the CCC history here is really kind of interesting. The team that finished here is the CCC team that started Poinsett State Park in Sumter.
And the team that started here is the one that finished up at Kings Mountain.
That's right. So what wound up happening, the guys that started here got called to Kings Mountain. They thought they were going to abandon Chester. Well, the folks in Sumter, it was an African-American group, CCC, and Apparently the people in Sumter weren't too keen on them being there, so they swapped them out for a different group and decided to send that group up here to finish. So they finished building up the spillway and the dam. They built with the house that the main ranger stays in, was built by them, was the foreman's house, he said.
So it was already there, so it was part of the first team.
And then where their camping facilities were is where the other house is here. And then they also built some of the
picnic shelters.
Yeah, the picnic shelter area. They built some of the picnic shelters. So kind of neat history. He said that they're going to be working on doing some signage and some things to kind of honor the CCC folks over the coming years. And this is a great little park. So if you've watched any of our videos, you know we love to try and find somewhere local to eat. When we looked around, there was one place that just kind of popped up online because I guess it's an institution, I would say, of Chester, and that was the Cyclone. It's been there since 1970. The food was what I would call kind of American.
They're burgers, meatloaf, spaghetti, catfish.
But then they had a lot of
There's
Greek.
also Greek dishes.
Yeah, they had. We
even
didn't
had some like Louisiana pastas and.
Yeah, it was all pretty tasty. I went with the cheeseburger club. Nothing too risky for me. It was lunch. Didn't want to eat too much.
Sam Henry was debating between the meatloaf and the spaghetti, and she came back and said, "Well, the meatloaf comes with spaghetti." So it was really like a meatloaf parmesan, but our weirdo doesn't eat cheese much, and so he got it without cheese. So basically, he had 2 slabs of meatloaf and a giant plate of spaghetti, toast, and red Jello, and he was in hog heaven.
Claire got a cheeseburger.
I got the catfish nuggets were tasty. The fries were really good.
Yeah,
good coleslaw.
Yeah. So there's also kind of a revitalization of their downtown. So it looked like there were some restaurants and coffee shops there.
There was a new one that was it was obviously new, but it had this very 1950s retro diner look to it, and I didn't catch the name. We'll try to dig it up.
Yeah, we'll see if we can't get it added on here.
I had forgotten a baseball hat, which, you know, in camping, it's dang near a necessity. And so I had noticed a place called Broad Street Mercantile, and so Sam Henry and I ran back down there just to check things out, see what was what. It's a great little locally owned business. There was a whole section of camping, hunting, firearms side, and then there was a whole retail side with lots of clothing, muck boots, hats, cups, koozies, coolers, all of the kind of South Carolina brands, I would say. There was a lot of the Haybo and Hook.
Haybo is actually from Chester or Winsboro, one of the two, I can't remember.
But super good things, lots of great prices at this time of year. It was lots of great sales on their winter stuff. Everything from, you know, adult women to little kids, and then there was a whole section of dog toys, which is where we actually spent our money. Was on some dog toys.
Their downtown is really quite special. The architecture is great,
and it's on this big slopey curved hill.
Yeah.
So there's, I mean, I think Timmy and I, when we came back through, we counted like 9 churches of all different denominations, and they all were just gorgeous and beautifully built, and lots of different bricks. And there's a lot of like Victorian homes.
Yeah.
And then lots of those really pretty like 1960, but like pretty ones from the 60s. But really well kept up, big giant trees. The downtown, there's like an arts council, and there's some other things that you can tell the city's really trying to keep up some of those buildings.
You know, this is a small town, kind of rural South Carolina, which is one of the things that makes this kind of a nice little getaway. It's quiet. Last night I went down and took the camera down late after the sun had gone down, and was blown. Actually, I just walked down there just to go look at the stars, and was so blown away I took the camera back down and took some awesome photographs of the stars. It was so beautiful, and
I saw the pictures, and they're beautiful. I did not get out of the nice warm camper bed.
It was cold, but it was really neat that we can't see this stuff in town where we live. So it's nice to get away and be able to look at the stars. That there was one thing that did surprise me the first night we were here. I expected to be quiet and peaceful, and I kept hearing airplanes. And I pulled up my Live Air app to see what airplanes were by, and lo and behold, we are right along the flight path as planes that come into Charlotte International Airport. That first night they were coming in about 10,000 feet. Last night they were coming in, it was a clearer night, they were coming in about 9,000 feet. It wasn't enough that it annoyed me. It was loud and rambunctious. It was just something to note that we are near that flight path for Charlotte. And one last little thing that we got to, it was a really unique experience for us. We got to meet the artist in residence
who was returning. She had been the artist in residence in the fall, and she was returning with her artwork that she had developed. It's an amazing program. I'm gonna find the link so we can put it in the bottom. The artist in residence is an opportunity for for artists to come and spend a certain amount of time at different parks.
Sam Henry.
Stop, buddy. And then develop a piece of artwork, a variety, there's all kinds of options, and that is open kind of in segments year round. And I think she said 19 of the parks were participating this year. But I
think I heard her say 138 applicants. So it's a challenging.
Yeah, they're not just taking anybody. Yeah, they're really getting to pick. And I think the Rangers have a hand in who they get to choose. Yeah,
because I heard Zach say that
he was looking at the list.
He was part of the judging, I think preliminary judging or something along those lines.
So it's just another example of what Parks and Recs is doing to just expand the reach, expand the opportunities. And she showed us her artwork. They showed them the cabin where it was going to be hung. It was just breathtaking, and it was something we'd seen here, and then to see it from a different viewpoint and season, and it was just a really cool experience for us to get to see. I've seen that online. I've seen them put out, it's time to apply, but to be able to actually meet the artist, talk about her time that she spent here, and what a great experience it was for her, and then to see the final product was pretty spectacular.
It was a painting of the boathouse that she took. They came and were paddling around in the paddle boat, and she just thought that was a very iconic scene, and I agree, it was really neat, very well done. So, very cool, great experience. This is a great little park. The campground itself is small.
But it's the perfect size to me especially for young families. Seen a lot of kids.
Yes.
And what I would say, people ask, what do the kids like the best? And about camping, and some of it's the family time. A lot of it is that a little extra sense of freedom.
Yeah, the campground is small enough that if they holler anywhere in this campground, I'm going to hear them.
Yeah. Well, and they just have the freedom to, at our house, we wouldn't let them walk all the way down to the end of our street by themselves. But here, they make the circle, or Clara just took her book to the lake for some quiet time. She's heard that somewhere.
Yeah.
But just to have that little bit of distance to make them feel like they have all this independence when really they're safe, they're fine. And they've been able to kind of explore a little bit in the woods here. And they do that pretty regularly at the parks we're at. We have, depending on the park, the size of the park, the size of the campground, their boundaries. But park this size, kind of even like Wateree, they get to make the whole loop, and they really feel like, they're kind of big and they're kind of getting to do their own thing.
Yeah, very much so. We'll take a second if we can get him up here.
Come here, baby.
You've probably seen him in some of the other clips. We'll show you the newest family member that's been added to us.
I know.
This is the newest member of our family, as you've seen in some of the videos. This is Rusty, the super mutt, as we found out. We got him from a friend that could not keep him because of her other dog, and she rescued him from the animal shelter.
She felt like he needed a fam, an active.
So this is his first trip with us. You'll be seeing more of him, and
except for a few minor escapeness.
Yeah.
He's been great.
So we hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you get a chance to get to Chester and come check it out yourself. It's a great park, and we highly recommend it. Thanks for watching.
little outtakes. You're right there where they're both playing, and the kids had a great time.
And then just past that is Rusty. Come here, bud.
Come here, Rusty.
Come here, baby.